Hi everyone, I am building a tower here. As you can see, I've gotten this far so far. I have this many blocks left. And what do you think? Do you think that, what do you think is going to happen first? Do you think I'm going to run out of pieces first? Or do you think my tower is going to fall over first? The Bible story for today is about building a tower. The people have this idea that they're going to build a tower up to God. And they're going to build that tower as tall as they can, and that hopefully, when they get to the top of it, they'll be able to be up where God is. Now we know that that is not something that's going to work out, right? Because if you build way up in the sky, you and I know that you don't get to heaven, you get to outer space, right? You get to the moon, you get to the astronauts, you get to the space shuttle up there. And even if you could keep building beyond, you'd eventually either run out of materials or your tower would fall over. We know that the plan that they have isn't going to work. But the idea of what they're doing is something that I think that we can learn something from. The idea that their goal is to be equal to God. That they're going to try and catch up to God, right? That they're going to try and catch up to God in building this big tower. That they're going to be able to get up to where God is. That they'll be equal to God. And I think the message that we can take from the Tower of Babel story is that that's just not something we're going to be able to do, right? God is different than people. God is, it's getting wobbly. God is God's more than a person. God is God. And God can do things that regular folks can't do. God gets to be God and we get to be people. And that's okay. I think one of the messages that sometimes happens when you talk about the Tower of Babel is that, and a lot of Bible stories, people, that's how far I can make it. A lot of Bible stories turn into people are bad and we need to be better. And sure, we can always work to be better at stuff, and we can always work to follow the rules better, to be kinder to people, to be gentler to people. But it goes beyond that. I think that what this story really shows us is that when it comes to when it comes to the world around us and when it comes to things, eventually we all have our limits. I can only build this tower so tall before it's going to fall over, before I'm going to run out of materials, before I'm not going to be able to do it. And honestly, everything that we do has our limitations, right? We can only lift things that are so heavy. We can only run so fast. We can only reach so high. We can only, build stuff that gets so tall. God doesn't have those limitations. And so if we put our trust in other people, that no matter what happens, that other person, that other thing, that other stuff is going to be able to solve our problem or help us do what we want to do, eventually that thing is going to let us down, right? That nothing in the world is perfect, and that nothing in the world lasts forever, and nothing in the world is like God. And so the message from the Tower of Babel is that we shouldn't put our trust in the stuff around us. We shouldn't put our trust just in our ability to build, or our ability to solve problems, or our ability to do these other things. Those are good things, right? We work to make our abilities better. That's why you go to school, right? So you can get new abilities and learn new things. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the only thing that will never let us down, that has no limits, that will keep going up and up, even when our towers fall, is God. And that time I was in a hurry, and it wasn't stacked as neat. I could try and keep on building this, and what's going to happen? It's going to keep on falling down. But if instead of relying on my ability to build, instead I rely on God, I'll be able, God's not going to come toppling over. God's not going to come falling over. God's not going to crash down with some big story of confusion in different languages like the Tower of Babel. God is always going to be there. So we do. We work on our skills. We get better at stuff. We improve as people. But in the end, the one thing that we can always trust, no matter what, is God. I wonder if I can ever get this tower to go all the way up until I run out of pieces. But I get a feeling that no matter what I do, it's always going to come toppling down. But God never come toppling down. All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye.